My fellow Turks and Caicos Islanders, despite major efforts by the governor's office, the local government, the heads of law enforcement, the Turks and Caicos Christian Council, and all the people praying for the country, what the last 48 hours have shown us is that we don't have a grip on the crime epidemic that's plaguing the country. The recent surge in crime has everyone on edge, with the feeling that anyone, anytime can be a victim. The criminals are acting as if they are untouchable. Law-abiding citizens are afraid. I know. I am also. Yesterday, the lunchtime conversation was about the requirement for a gun license. Last night's conversation was about how it feels to have a gun to one's head, as a friend of mine was one of the victims of yesterday's crime spree. These are not healthy conversations. We should not have to have them, and it's not for a lack of trying by the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force. They are taking the right initiatives, from the recruiting of additional officers to the introduction of community policing. However, more needs to be done to ensure that this increased level of crime does not become the new norm. Crime is everybody's business, and we all need to come together to help stamp it out. Within our population of approximately 35,000, there are law-abiding citizens who know something or who have seen something suspicious. If you are one of these persons, come forward and share the information with the police or with Crime Stoppers if you're afraid. This is the quickest and easiest way for us to get rid of this nightmare, and you may save someone's life. I am also encouraging persons who may have any information about the human trafficking problem, no matter how insignificant, to share it with the authorities in order to help the government stop the sloops. On Friday morning, I woke to the news that night the police marine branch intercepted a Haitian sloop with 154 illegal migrants, including 29 Sri Lankan males. The inclusion of Sri Lankans on that sloop is very troubling, as there are Sri Lankans currently operating in Haiti as United Nations peacekeepers. In 2018, there were approximately 750 of them. It's possible that these 29 males were part of a United Nations contingent. The question of why there were Sri Lankans on that sloop is a matter for the police to investigate. But if they are found to be former members of a United Nations contingent to Haiti, I am calling on the government to bring in the United Nations to assist in this matter. The United Nations must bear the full responsibility for its staff, including reimbursing the Turks and Caicos Islands for all costs associated with them entering the country illegally. And most importantly, to ensure that it doesn't happen again, the government must treat this with the utmost urgency, as the last thing this country needs is ex-soldiers living here illegally with no way to legally sustain themselves. A few weeks ago, I stated that the government should recruit at least 20 more police officers to address the increased crime, and I am happy to see that, coincidentally or not, that 20 more officers were recently recruited. This is a great start, but more needs to be done for our police. To combat the increased level of crime, we need to strengthen our surveillance, detection, investigation, and prosecution capabilities. After all, when a lawful arrest is made, the criminal should not walk free due to a technicality in the courts. Notwithstanding the need for more resources for the police, I must acknowledge the fact that approximately 10% of the government's budget is allocated to policing. By comparison, 14% is allocated to education and the youth. We cannot allow crime to push the country to the point where it needs to spend more on law enforcement and incarcerating its citizens than on initiatives that prevent crime and allow persons to live high-quality lives. On forming the next government, the Progressive National Party will allocate the necessary funding to allow the police to obtain the necessary tools and skill sets to do their job effectively, while simultaneously funding activities that will remove the temptations for persons to engage in a life of crime. We will prioritize high-quality education and social programs for our students, meaningful and well-paying jobs for our labor force, access to affordable capital for our entrepreneurs, and a decent pension and high-quality health care to see our senior citizens through their golden years. We will do these things because we believe that Turks and Caicos Islanders should be given every opportunity to live their best lives in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And we cannot allow crime to be the reason that we cannot achieve that, especially when we can do something about it. In closing, I want to remind you that we are our brother's keeper, and if you hear something or see something in regards to crime, report it. This beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos Islands is the only home that we have, and we will rise and fall with it. Let's look out for it and each other. Thank you, God bless you, and may God bless these Turks and Caicos Islands.